All right, so somebody wanted a video about the Espada XL, and I thought it'd be cool just to show like all the Espada XLs I have, and then just I'm mainly gonna concentrate on because I have another video where I talk about like the positives and stuff like that about the Espada XL. I'm gonna go a little bit about the negatives, and I do really like this knife. So it's not, I mean, I still like it. The negatives for me don't outweigh the positives. So. But just to show you the ones I do have, this is like the newest one. This is the Oz 10A, and then this one is S35VN, and then the rest are all CTS HP. It's my favorite one. My favorite type is the one that has that particular steel, just because I like that steel. These two are the ones I actually use and carry and stuff, and these have oil and stuff. You can see it on here on them, but these I don't use, this whole section here. But yeah, I prefer the ones that are CTS HP. If you were to carry one, if you want to actually carry one all the time, this is the one I would recommend, because of it's all black. It's a little bit more discreet than something that's so shiny. But if you like art, I would go with this one, because to me this is just, I still prefer this one over this one, the G10 version, the only G10 version, because of just because of how nice it looks to me. So this is my favorite. This is what I would use if I would carry it all the time. Other than that, I'll just go over just some negatives. I'll show different clips and try to cover everything I can think of. All right, so I'm gonna use the aluminum one just so you can see it better, and I'm going to show you this. The first problem I have with it is the seat belt. So when you do use a seat belt, it's always touching it. And I mean, it doesn't matter which car I've been in. This has been the same problem. This is a 91 Toyota pickup, just in case. And if you see it, it's basically the whole time touching there. And even with off, you can kind of see where this touches here. Basically, this is where it's touching the whole time. So that's one of the problems. Right, so the second problem I have with this is when I wear it in waistband. And this is like this is the most discreet way of doing it, wearing this knife. So it's fine and everything when you walk, it's okay. It is up against you all the time. But whenever you want to sit down or when you bend over for something, it doesn't matter where you put it, it basically constricts, up against your pants. So if you see that, it imprints, and it's also like super pushing up against your pants. And you can still use the wave function on this, but I think it takes a lot more practice, and it feels a lot more dangerous than if you would just use it out of your pocket. But that's just something I guess you can just continue doing, and you can get the hang of it down. So it was kind of hard to figure out how to show this part. All right, but I decided just to make a jacket out of a trash bag. Turns out I'm a 13-gallon in trash bags. So, all right, another problem is if you have your jacket open and you decide to use your wave function, this can happen too. So basically, it basically cuts a hole in your sweet jacket. So what happens is, and I'll show you what's going on. So for the wave function to actually work, it has to pull out. And when that does, it'll actually catch whatever loose clothing you have. So if you have a jacket, or if somebody's behind you or stuff like that, that's a problem with all wave function knives. But it's like even more so because of this like 7.5-inch blade, basically. So that's another problem. Right, and the last thing I can think of that's one of the problems with this knife is the detent. So the detent is like super strong, but it has to be, just because of how big this knife is. You don't want it opening in your pocket, or you want it opening when you don't want it to open. You can still flick it open just because of how massive the blade is. But let me show you the detent. So let's say I'm gonna grab something on the other side of this, and then all of a sudden, yeah. So the other thing is just the detent, and then just the overall guillotine power this thing has. So that would be the last problem I can think of. If you have any questions, let me know. I'll be happy to answer them. the person that suggested the video actually asked specifically how I would suggest wearing this knife. And even though it has those problems, I mean, it's still a really, really good knife. I like it. Like I said, I think the problems like do not outweigh the benefits of this knife. But personally, what I would use, like let's say if I want to use it every day, all the time, like I said, I would go with the G10 version. This is kind of hard to find, but even the other one, I think it's more concealable than the actual aluminum one because it's not as bright. But so I would wear the G10 version. I would wear a front pocket because unless you really, really practice, I guess, having it in waistband, this is much more comfortable when you sit down and stuff. If you see this, it's a lot more easier. But the only thing, you have to wear a slightly longer shirt than what I usually wear just to have it concealed. But even if it does show, it's not as bad because it doesn't really draw the eye to the knife itself. But you have to practice to basically do this when you do want to take it out. The reason I use it in the front here is because here it's a lot more comfortable for me than it is over here, and I think it actually imprints less. It comes out less. Just in general, it's more concealed here where the pocket actually goes up. So if I had to suggest how to wear one of these, if you can, I would say CTSX HP because it's all black, G10 because it is slightly thinner too. It's more grippier. You can actually pull it out easier. It's more functional for what it's meant to be as a defense weapon. They're both as strong and everything, but just in grip wise and discreetness, and then even this version, the CTS HP version, has a diamond coating, so even in wearing it all the time, it's going to be a lot more rust resistant. Even though CTS HP isn't that prone to rust, this is even less. So overall, this would be my suggestion, this specific knife if you can, and then wearing it in the front like this, it's just overall more comfortable. It imprints less. Even if it does imprint in the front, it doesn't look as bad as if it imprints on the side, basically, for me at least.